Hi everyone, I hope you've had a lovely work-free half term and that you've really enjoyed being able to get out in the sunshine. So our videos from now on are going to talk to you a little bit about the work that's been set for the following week. So it might be going through some examples of what we've set, or giving you some advice, or maybe running through some of the methods that we've set. So I'm going to start with the English for next week. Now the English for next week is all about writing similes. Now, we haven't really touched on similes much since the beginning of year 3, but from what I can remember when we did write them, you were fantastic at coming up with them. So I look forward to see what you come up with this week. So I'm just going to remind you a little bit about what a simile is. So a simile is something that we use to compare whatever we're describing with something else. And this helps the person that's reading our work to be able to picture what it is that we're describing. Let's go through some examples. So I'm going to use my old friend Mr. Bunny. I've had Mr. Bunny since I was very little, and at the moment he's looking a little bit worn out and not very white, but I'm going to use him to come up with some similes. So first of all, I'm going to say that Mr. Bunny is as fluffy as a white cloud in the summer. And I'm going to say that his tail is like a ball of cotton wool. So you might have picked up on some of the words that I said there. I used the words as and like to compare him. So I said he was as fluffy as a white cloud, and I said that his tail was like a ball of cotton wool. So those are the words that we use in our similes to help us to compare. We use as and like. So some of the stimuluses you've got this week to be able to write your similes, we're looking at Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and some of those characters. And at the end of the week, your challenge is going to be to come up with some similes all about different animals. And then you can send those similes to either myself or Mrs. Burley, or show them to the people in your household, and they have to try and guess which animal your simile is describing. So I look forward to seeing some of those. Maths this week, we're going to be continuing looking at money. So the examples of work that I've seen from the previous pack have been absolutely brilliant. So I'm looking forward to see how you get on this week. So we're looking more at subtracting money and finding change. One of the side notes that I've written in the planning is that if there's any money around your house, it would be a really good idea to maybe set up a bit of a pretend shop. So you could use the prices and the objects in the previous pack, so the week before half term, which has got different objects and different prices, and you could have a pretend shop where you buy those things, you give some money, and then you work out what change you're supposed to get. That's a really good idea to do some practical work on money and not just do it on paper all the time. Something else we're looking at this week is something called the formal method of division. So some people refer to this as bus stop. Now, we've looked at lots of different ways of dividing this year. We've looked at using arrays, and we've looked at using your times table facts to find the opposite division facts. But this is another way that you can do some division. So I'm just going to share with you an example. Okay, so this is an example of how you would lay out using the formal method of division, which some people call bus stop method. So we're going to start with using the same example that's going to be in your maths pack. So we're going to do 96 divided by 3. So 96 divided into 3 groups. So we're going to start by drawing our bus stop, or our formal method. And inside of the bus stop goes the number that we are going to divide. So we're going to divide 96. And then on the outside of the bus stop goes what we are dividing 96 into. So we're dividing 96 into groups of 3. So we're going to start with dividing the 9 tens into 3 groups, okay, which you can use arrays for. So I'm going to divide 9 into 3 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you can see that each of my groups has 3 tens in it, or 3s in it, okay? So I'm going to write the answer to that. So the answer to how many, to 9 split into 3 groups up here. So I've got 3 tens, okay? And now I need to move on to my ones. So now I need to know how many, I'm going to share my 6s into 3 groups. So how many 3s go into 6, okay? So I can do the same thing. I can split my 6 ones into 3 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can see that I've got, again, 2 1s in each group. So I'm now going to put my 2 up here, and you can see that the answer to this question is 32. Okay, so hopefully my examples that I've given you this week will help you when you get onto your work next week. On top of the English and Maths, we've also got some lovely foundation subjects, as usual. So in computing, we are moving on to a programme called Scratch. All of the instructions are in the pack, but hopefully that's something that you'll really, really enjoy. In science, we're continuing looking at the sun and thinking about how we can protect ourselves from the sun. And there's also a really nice PSHE topic, or using Purple Mash, all about how to send